The problem of attention. So, what do you do when you are all over the place all the time and it's really tough to ground yourself and catch those thoughts for what they are? That's something that I struggle with in every moment, and it's what I want to talk about today. I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of notes written down on this topic that I want to go over. So, what I want to do is break down the problem and then say some things about what I do to deal with it. The problem with focusing on anything is that there are so many distractions in this day and age where you have your screens and technology 24/7, your phone notification going off, anything that's in the way of you getting done what you need to in the moment. That's the core of the problem, in that you can't really catch those thoughts when they are going by so quickly and you pay attention to them. You give the thoughts power because they're moving too fast for you to catch. And that's what's happening when a thought comes by and I chase that thought. I go as far as it goes because I miss it, I don't catch it. And then by the time I do catch up to this stray thought, the thing that I was originally doing is miles gone. So I have to now run back to the thing I was doing and get back to it. That could take anywhere for from 3 hours to 4 hours. It could turn one thing that was supposed to take an hour into a whole debacle, a whole situation. So it could really impede your life. It could really get in the way of being a person who gets anything done because you're constantly living in your thoughts and getting distracted by things and not being able to ground yourself in the moment. Something that I do to get closer to this is see what it is that I'm being distracted by for what it is. So, for example, in my life, video games are a major distractor. Not even the act of sitting down and playing a video game, but thinking about it outside of the game in my day to day. So, take World of Warcraft, for example, something that I've gone back and forth to my entire life, stopped playing, then I'm playing it again. Anyway, when I'm not playing the game and I intend to play it in the near future, I'll start thinking a lot about it. Even if I don't have the time, it'll run by my mind and I'll start getting consumed by it. I'll think about it and I'll start planning for it. If a new expansion is coming out for it, I'll be thinking about it and it'll be taking over my mind in a way. It'll be much harder to get things done in the day to day. So that is one thing that I really find a balance with when I end up thinking about these things. One thing I do is I write it down. I have to journal what that thing is that is consuming my thoughts so that I could then understand what I could do about it. Journaling is something that you hear a lot about, and it sounds corny or it sounds like it won't help just to write down your thoughts, but in the long term, it really does. You do it once or twice, you won't really feel the effects of it, but you do it multiple times, and that will start to accrue and it will start to leave an impact on your mind, and you'll actually find yourself going back to the journals and figuring out what you were so distracted by for so long. And it actually helps your focus and attention in the moment, because when that stray thought goes by or that thing is distracting you, you could see it for what it is. You could say, that's that feeling, that's that thought. I'm going to write this down and then we'll shelf it for later. That way it doesn't take you out of the current moment, the current task at hand that would only take you an hour typically, and you're able to get it done. Imagine that, just being able to focus on something, figure it out, and get it done. It's very common today to not be able to do that, especially with technology, as I mentioned before, where it brings you down so many routes and it constantly requires your attention. We live in an attention economy nowadays, which leads to my next point, where you eventually begin to think of attention and focus, more so attention, as a currency. If attention is a currency, that means that it's limited in some way, and that it's really something that you need to control and mitigate. You need to break it down moment to moment and realize that your attention is something to be valued and treated with respect. So when it does go down these different routes, you could say not now, or you could say maybe later, because right now we need to do this, and then we could do that. But this is what's important. That also leads to being able to stay in tune with your thoughts. When you're in tune with what's happening in the moment and you're not following all these stray paths, you are actually fulfilling yourself in some way. You're allowing yourself to be grounded in life, and you're not taking yourself out of life by thinking all of these different branches at once, multitasking, where you're not actually in any singular place, you're in many different places all at once. You're creating all these little universes that you have all these different hands in all at the same time, instead of just being in one and enjoying it and seeing it for what it is. That's almost the end goal of focus and attention. Not that you're never going to be distracted or you're never going to be able to bring yourself out of something, but the fact that you're able to redirect your mind when needed, and you're able to take control over what your mind is seeing and what you're paying attention to and what you're immersing yourself in on a day-to-day basis. So those are just some thoughts I had about this topic. Hopefully it helped. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I would love to discuss this topic further. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.